Back with Coach Tim Beck, Pitt State University. We talked already a lot about the rivalry with Pitt State, a little bit about the game coming up this week. Coach, Zach Dickey has really done some amazing things this year, and anybody who's read my column or my blog this year has known that I'm big on the passing game, and I thought earlier in the year that if you can't put up big numbers through the air, you're gonna struggle in this league, and he has done nothing but prove me wrong week in and week out. How big has his game been to the program this year?
Well, he's a better passer and a better thrower than people give him credit. And he just hasn't done it as much as everybody else. He didn't grow up doing it, so it's just a little bit different. And so every game that Zach plays, even though he's a senior, and every game that he plays, he just continues to improve and continues to get better and continues to get more comfortable with throwing the football. I think everybody sticks out in their mind when they see him play that he's obviously fast and can hurt you with his legs, but you got to be careful with him too, because you give him an opportunity. He can throw the ball on a rope, and he can throw the ball in the right spot. But the number one asset on Zach, he's just a tremendous leader, and he's going to get everybody to play at an extremely high level. And so, a lot of times it's a lot more than being able to run and throw and those type of things. You can't measure heart and guts, and he's got a lot of those.
Yeah, and it certainly helps to have a guy like John Brown to throw the ball to. He has done some really great things this year as well. Just a great pickup as a transfer, and also Andrew Castaneda isn't a bad pickup at wide receiver either. Talk about those two guys and how they've helped really with Dickey's progression and with the team overall.
Well, they've helped with both, and the nice thing about both of them is they're super kids, great kids. They know how to work hard. They're not selfish. They're very unselfish players that they want to do what's best for the team. And so that's the kind of kids we're looking for, and we're trying to find kids that will buy into what we're doing and buy into understanding that the team is more important than themselves. And John Brown's got bigger numbers than Andrew, but Andrew's a dangerous receiver as well, and they both can go score if you give them the football. And the great thing for us is it's helped us become a lot more balanced than we were a year ago.
Now, moving to the defensive side of the ball, let's be honest. Are you the luckiest man alive to have Nate Dreiling as a linebacker on your football team?
Well, not very many people recruited Nate. First of all, we had him in camps in the summertime and liked him then, and obviously we still like him. He's just a football player. He's a coach's son that he spends a tremendous amount of time watching video. He works for everything that he gets. He's made himself into a very good player. And so Nate's a guy that deserves everything he gets because he has to work hard for it. He spends a lot of time doing the things to improve himself as a football player. So another kid that's just been a tremendous leader for us, and even though he's a sophomore, he's a guy that elevates everybody else's play.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of years still to watch Nate Dreiling and the things he does there in Pittsburgh. Defensive line has really done a lot of good things this year. Guys like Spencer Worthington, Gus Toka, all across the board have really put up some good numbers and done a lot of good things. Who's the star of that line, or maybe not even the star, but the leader of that defensive line, and what do they do to help the unit excel?
I don't know that there's a particular leader. I think the two probably would be Gus Toka and Spencer Worthington. Those two together kind of spark everybody else. But again, it's just a group. Those are the same guys that were here last year. They're just a year older and a year stronger, and in the system another year. So it's part of the credit's got to go to our coaches. Our coaches done a tremendous job of getting them ready to play, and to give our players credit. Well, I tell you what, our defensive line, they come to play every weekend. So we're pretty excited about the 6, 7, 8 guys that we play there.
I'm moving back briefly to the game this week with Northwest Missouri State. They've got an awful lot of weapons in that team. The talent level is nearly unmatched, I think, in all of Division Two. With even their backup quarterback and the way he's played this year, and their duo of running backs and the receivers, the tight ends, offensively, it's just a machine of talent. Do you key in on somebody? How do you game plan for so many weapons?
There's no way to key on anybody. There's no weaknesses on their offense. I said something to Coach Sabota and Coach Tatum. I think they're the best offensive team they've ever had, and that's saying a lot when you look back at the teams that they've had. I mean, they are phenomenal. There's just not any weaknesses. They're good in the offensive line. They've got two good quarterbacks, two good running backs, bunch of good receivers, good tight ends. So what do? You just gotta play the best defense you can play, and you got to get a bunch of people to the ball when you know where it's at. And so, for us to slow them down last time, we kind of got them slowed down a little bit in the second half. But you saw in the first half how explosive they are, and they've been able to score a lot of points on most everybody all season.
Yeah, it's such a crazy good team that you'll be up against this week. Should be a great game in the jungle. Now, if going back to the rivalry talk a little bit, if you do lose this game and you see Northwest Missouri State move on, is the rivalry to the point where you don't root for Northwest Missouri, or are you MIAA all the day every day, and you'll pull for them in the future rounds?
We'll be disgusted because we're not playing if that happens, obviously.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, you root for your conference. I think that, and I would like to think that they would be rooting for us if we were to beat them. I think that it just proves that how strong our conference is when we get teams to the national championship game, and so. As hard as it is, maybe sometimes to root for somebody, you want your conference and you want your opponents to do well.
Absolutely. Now, final question for you today. We talked a little bit about some of the star guys on your team. Tell me the one guy that we haven't mentioned yet that is going to need to step up, or that you think will step up and lead you to a victory Saturday against Northwest Missouri.
I would say it's hard to say with one guy, but I think Jason Peete will be a really important player for us because he's a young guy that had a big play against Northwest last time. He allowed a couple of big plays, but he's a young man that is a redshirt freshman, and so he's continuing to get better every week and more experience. So that's really helped get him ready to go. So, it's hard to really say that there's one guy, but I think he has potential to have a big game for us.
Well, Coach Beck, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. I wish you good luck on Saturday, and if it works out, the rest of the playoffs. I know as an MIAA fan, it's a exciting time for the league and for the team, and just the best to you and your team. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.